I had to die in order to understand how to truly live. Not once, but twice. At the age of 18 years old, after being attacked on the way home from a nightclub, I found myself in a coma with a fractured skull and a bleed on the brain. Doctors said I would never wake up, and they were planning to pull the plug on my life support machine. But somehow I managed to miraculously come round. You would have thought surviving a near-death experience would have taught you how to fully live, right? Did it? Fuck. Only just a handful of weeks after being released from hospital, I found myself hobbling down to the local pub on crutches while sat staring into a pint of Foster's. Which is mind-blowing, because apparently surviving a life-changing trauma like that still wasn't enough to stop me drinking that Aussie shite. But the thing is, I fell straight back into that same old groundhog routine. But then I met the young lady who I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. We went on to building a life that looked perfect on the outside. The house, the cars, the holidays. But on the inside, I felt completely numb. Just over 6 years later, I walked into a restaurant and I saw her sat there, but she was with another guy. This shattered my heart into a million pieces. Because I wasn't losing just a girlfriend. I was losing the future I imagined. I completely lost my whole identity. After suffering through many months of mental misery, I was ready to end it all. Sat slumped on the sofa, staring at a blank wall, crying so hard I couldn't see a way forwards. And I convinced myself my life was over and that I'll never be happy again. For the second time, death entered the room. Whilst in a coma, I wasn't conscious to decide whether to switch my life support machine off. But this time, death had become a desired destination. As I was contemplating ending it all, one question came into my mind that completely changed everything. Could I live with the thought of dying with regrets? Could I end it all still knowing there was undiscovered dreams that I never pursued, and unused potential I never fulfilled? The answer was no. And look, it wasn't like I woke up the next day feeling fully fulfilled or had some grand plan for my life. I simply stopped focusing on everything that I thought I was losing and started seeing everything I still had and what I was potentially gaining. I didn't even know what the word gratitude meant back then. But slowly, instead of waking up screaming the words, "You," I started saying, "Thank you." Look, gratitude didn't change my life overnight. It simply reminded me that my story wasn't over yet. Looking back, I've realized something. So many adults who are alive and well have already unconsciously pulled the plug on their own life. Not physically, but on their dreams and on the person who they're truly capable of becoming. I think so many of us end up settling for an unfulfilling existence that we never consciously chose, convincing ourselves that one day we'll make the change. Like tomorrow is guaranteed. What uncomfortable action have you been avoiding? Because the truth is, none of us know how much time we have left. But as long as your heart is still beating, then you're still in the game, and you can still make that change. You don't even need to wait for confidence. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't even need to wait for fear to disappear. Because it never does. So don't fear failure. Fear regret. Make the pain of regret worse than any other pain that you could ever imagine. Because the pain of fear and failure is temporary. The pain of regret can last a lifetime. So before you leave here today, I would like all of you to ask yourself the same question that saved my life. Could you live with the thought of dying with regrets? And if the answer is no, do something about it. Don't take your greatness to the grave.